Namaste, angels. This is the weekly general reading for the period of Sunday, October 7th through Saturday, October 13th. I just looked down at my clock here on the computer and calendar to get the date. It is 9/29/29 as I'm recording this on October 5th, which is the day that Venus goes retrograde in Scorpio. That's why I wanted to do the reading today, if I was able to. And I am able to. I'm so happy. She went retrograde at 3:05 this afternoon. Also, tonight has not happened yet. At 11:19, isn't that awesome? PM, Virgo, or the moon enters Virgo. So I thought that was pretty cool too, that this would be a nice day to do it. And of course, I associate Virgo with Jesus, and went into detail last year and probably the year before that. So my old videos are up if anybody wants to look at them as to why I thought he was a Virgo and on what days I believe could be or would be his likely birth date. 9/11, of course, but possibly 9/19, and even possibly 8/22, because that brings in both Leo and Virgo, so like Ra, which was originally the sun god, and Horus, the later the sun god. So that's my other possibility. Anyway, I just think it's really awesome that, like in my eyes, at least, it's the father and the son coming together with the moon entering, and the mother too. The mother's the moon. So with her entering Virgo, which I believe represents the sun, or is when the sun was born, that he was a Virgo, at 11:19, which is the numbers that represent the date on which King Osiris told me to celebrate his birthday. That was beginning 2 years ago. I just thought it was a really awesome day to do the reading. So here we go. And now I've been on for 2 minutes and 22 seconds. I just looked up at the camera. They're wanting us to make note of all these numbers. I got my numerology deck here to look at as we get into the cards too. All right, so first, what are we going to talk about? All right, the reading starts on the 7th, or begins with the 7th. On the 7th at 11:06 a.m., Saturn will be quincunx the true nodes. We had this earlier in the year, I think in like June or July, and I read about what it meant. Basically, it's like we need to remember that even if we are tested, I'll put it that way, that day, or even strained, we need to remember, like, each day is a new opportunity to begin again. Like the sun rises again. It's not the end of the world. And so if you sort of like rebuke the negative energy in that way, like I don't have to deal with this. I don't have, I know that better days are ahead within the next 24 hours, or a better moment is ahead, 5 minutes from now. So I'm not going to let this thing get me down. If we can stay in that kind of energy on that day, that'll be enough. But basically, it's like Saturn and Capricorn, where Saturn has been retrograde, or had been retrograde up until about 2 weeks ago. And it will currently be in shadow, so it hasn't left the RX zone yet, technically. So that, and the true node would be Leo, the North Node, them so in sort of like a clash. So that's what it means. All right. October 8th on the celestial calendar. I'm going backwards. I usually do this last. October 8th on the celestial calendar at 11:47 p.m. The new moon enters Libra, 15 degrees Libra 48. Or 17 degrees. I'm sorry. 17 degrees Libra 48. The 17 equals 8. That's the number that's on the Justice card in many of the tarot decks, which represents Libra. So that's kind of cool. On the 9th at 8:40 p.m., Mercury enters Scorpio. Both my rulers as a Gemini, Mercury and Venus officially at that point will be in Scorpio. And then my Jupiter, which has been in Scorpio since October of 2017, my Jupiter is also in Scorpio. So I'll have those 3 bodies there. Actually, I posted on my Facebook the other day that I guess beginning like next week through the end of the month will be a really, really like opportune, like prime time to, you know, purchase any services that anybody's interested in, because by the 23rd, so I was saying like the week before, the week during, and the week after, by the 23rd, which is the first day of Scorpio, and has been argued in court to have been the first day of creation, period. You can Google that if you want to. The day that it was argued in court that October 23rd was the day of creation. On that day, as of that day, 4 bodies will be in Scorpio: Jupiter, Mercury, Venus, and the Sun. So to me, that's pretty intense and a great time to get in on, you know, and get some clarity and get some healing and whatever one needs, you know, whether it's from me or whatever. I think that those 3 weeks are super, super opportune. Some may want to get it before the 23rd. Some may want to get it that week during and like move through the energy that way, and some the week following. But I think if it's within that 3 weeks, you'll capture it. All right. So with that said, I'm going to move to the Christian calendar, and I'll come back to some of the describe in further detail some of the things that are going on this week on the celestial calendar. So on the Christian calendar, also on the 7th, is the feast day of Our Lady of the Rosary. And on the 12th on the Christian calendar, Our Lady of the Pillar. Also on the 13th, it's not noted on the calendar in which I looked. However, the 13th will be the last of the feasts of Our Lady of Fatima for the year. So when Mary appeared at Fatima, back in the year 1917 equals 99, she first showed up in May, on May 13th. And she had the apparition before the 3 children. They told people who didn't necessarily believe them. And Mary told them to come back June 13th. And that's when she was going to put on a huge, you know, show. So everybody should come out on June 13th. And they did. The whole city came out to see her. And she continued to appear every month thereafter on the 13th through October. So that also happens. But I talked about that in May, Our Lady of Fatima, and I certainly talked about it in June and for June 13th. That is my birthday also. So I won't talk about Our Lady of Fatima again, but right now I'll go over Our Lady of the Rosary and Our Lady of the Pillar. So Our Lady of the Rosary, I'm going to get this from www.franciscanmedia.org. Saint Pius V established the feast day in the year 1573. The purpose was to thank God for the victory of Christians over Turks at Lepanto, a victory attributed to the praying of the Rosary. Clement XI extended the feast day to the Universal Church in the year 1716. 1716, of course, which equals 6. 6, the number that represents Mother and certainly Mary. 1573, the first date I mentioned, 7. 7 represents divinity and God, right? Spirituality. The development of the Rosary has a long history. First, a practice developed of praying 156 Our Fathers in imitation of the 150 Psalms. Then there was a parallel practice of praying 150 Hail Marys. Soon a mystery of Jesus' life was attached to each Hail Mary. Though Mary's giving of the Rosary to St. Dominic is recognized as a legend, the development of this prayer from owes much to the followers of Saint Dominic. One of them, Alan de Roche, was known as, quote unquote, the Apostle of the Rosary. He founded the first confraternity of the Rosary in the 6th century. In the 16th, century, the Rosary was developed to its present form, with the 15 mysteries, 6, joyful, sorrowful, and glorious. In 2002, 1111, Pope John Paul II added 5 mysteries of light to this devotion. The purpose of the Rosary is to help us to meditate on the great mysteries of our salvation. Pius XII called it a compendium of the gospel. The main focus is on Jesus, his birth, life, death, and resurrection. The Our Fathers remind us that Jesus' Father is the initiator of salvation. The Hail Marys remind us to join with Mary in contemplating these mysteries. They also make us aware that Mary was and is intimately joined with her Son in all the mysteries of his earthly and heavenly existence. The Glory Bees remind us that the purpose of all life is the glory of the Trinity. The Rosary appeals to many. It is simple. The constant repetition of words helps create an atmosphere in which to contemplate the mysteries of God. We sense that Jesus and Mary are with us in the joys and sorrows of life. We grow in hope that God will bring us to share in the glory of Jesus and Mary forever. So that's the 7th. Then Our Lady of the Pillar, I'm getting from www.wikipedia.org. Maria del Pilar, okay, is the way that is its original or true name, because it's a Spanish celebration, but I'll read about this. So, Our Lady of the Pillar is the name given to the Blessed Virgin Mary, associated with the claim of Marian apparition to Apostle James the Greater, as he was praying by the banks of the Ebro at Caesar Augusta, which is now called Zaragoza or Hispania. This occurred in 40 AD, the 1111. The celebrated wooden image is enshrined at the Basilica of Our Lady of Pilar. Oh, goodness, I'm like reading in more than one language. Hang on. Our Lady of the Pillar in Zaragoza. Pope Calixtus III granted indulgences towards her shrine in the year 1456. Since 1730-11, Pope Innocent XIII mandated her veneration throughout the Spanish Empire, and the Virgin Mary, invoked under this specific Marian title, is considered the patroness of the Spanish region of Aragon and its capital, Zaragoza, and of the Spanish Civil Guard. Ultimately, Pope Pius X granted the image its canonical coronation on May 20th in the year 1905, which equals 6, yet again, Mary's number. Her feast day is the 12th of October. Yes, because she already has a feast day on the 13th. Again, that is Our Lady of Fatima. Thus, coinciding with Columbus Day, it says here, which is celebrated as the national holiday of Spain. Christopher Columbus came here by order of Queen Isabella, the Queen of Spain. So there's that. And there's more about the tradition and where it began and getting the approval for those who are interested and would like to read that. I'm going to move on, however, to the Hebrew calendar and the fact that on the 10th of this month, so Wednesday of this week, the month of Heshvan of this year, 5779, begins. For that, I'm going to www.shabad.org and reading an article called Appreciating the Month of Heshvan by Shivy Waldman. The Hebrew month of Heshvan is by far my favorite month of the year. And not only because my birthday falls in Heshvan. Heshvan comes after summer vacation, after the busyness and excitement of the high holidays. It's a time to settle down and get things done. The kids are back in school, and it's possible to create and to maintain a schedule. I'm fascinated by the balance between being and doing. It's easy to feel important, significant when you're accomplishing something. When you're done with your quote unquote doing, you can look back and take pride and satisfaction in having achieved. At least for a moment, you can feast your eyes on the project you have completed for work or the neatly stacked piles of family laundry. The Western world certainly has great respect for doing and accomplishing. Our accomplishments make our bank accounts stable and our homes pleasant. On the other hand, what would a life look like if it were only about doing with no emphasis on being? I would define quote unquote being as those moments where you just are. You stop trying to accomplish long enough to appreciate what you have. It could be a long walk with a husband or a moment in the playground with your children. I look forward to a moment of being each Shabbat. Shabbat means the Sabbath day. When I light my candles. After rushing the whole day to prepare the food and clean the home, I stop. I gather my 3 little girls around me and we prepare to light the candles. My girls watch with wide eyes and open hearts as I strike a match and light the flames. Together we wave our hands in the air, sending light to family and friends in faraway places around the world. I make the blessing with their sweet voices echoing mine, ushering in the holiness of Shabbat. Then I pull each of them in close and say a prayer for them to present and for the present and the future, ending with a kiss and a Shabbat treat. In that moment, there's nothing left to accomplish. I have worked hard, but my work is done. Whoever said that a woman's work is never done was right, with one exception. We can decide that for now, we will take a break from doing and just be. And for that moment, in my mind and heart, the work, both in the home and outside of it, simply do not exist. For now, time is mine to just be. Personally, I'm more comfortable with doing. Really, I like to do. Doing allows me to enjoy the moments of being later. It's much harder to enjoy moments of quiet when you can't look back at a week and mentally take note of what you've accomplished. When I'm doing, I am a partner in creation. God created the world, and I'm creating a reality within my life and my home through doing. In the time of King Solomon, the Jewish people labored for 7 years to build the Holy Temple in Jerusalem. Their work was finally completed in the month of Heshvan. The Holy Temple epitomized the balance between doing and being. There were many detailed commandments about how the temple must be built and how one must go about bringing a sacrifice, a korban, in the temple. A pilgrim would spend the year raising his flocks and tending his orchards and vineyards before choosing the choicest of his accomplishments to bring to the temple. Yet the goal of all of the work and preparation was the moment of being that happened during the korban. A soul that had done all that it must do to prepare to come close to its creator could, for a moment, just bask in the light and the depth of that connection. Interestingly, we learn what work is prohibited on Shabbat from the work that was done to build and maintain the service in the Holy Temple. We don't create fire on Shabbat, as fire was kindled on the altar. We do not build on Shabbat, as we built the temple, and we do not wash clothing, as the wool was washed and cleaned to create the beautiful tapestries that decorated the temple. 39 types of labor were included in the building of the temple, and the commentaries tell us that those are the same types of labor that God used when creating the world. An interesting question arises. These 39 types of work are clearly holy and important. Since they are the foundations of creation and were essential in forming the place where God's presence was revealed in this world. Our sages teach us that, in fact, doing these types of labors is very important. And when we work in the world, using them to do good, we are indeed partners with the Creator. If so, on Shabbat, why do we stop doing them? Shabbat is a time to be. When we stop doing, we are able to appreciate who we are and what we have. When we are being, we're able to notice the people in our lives and to not push them out of the way as we run to another meeting or to pick up the phone or to join the carpool. When we're being, we're able to feel that we are intrinsically more than just the sum of our accomplishments. In being, the soul shines. When we stop, we acknowledge that there is an internal factor to our lives. The 6 days of the week have been compared to the 6 directions: right, left, front, back, up, and down. There go my sirens of healing. The 7th, Shabbat, is the inner dimension. On the Holy Shabbat, we're able to see and acknowledge that life pushes and pulls us in many directions in order to enhance our inner essence and divine connection. So, while doing may be important, it's only while we're being that we assess where our doing has gotten us and where we truly need to be. Still, like I said, I'm a doer. To be honest, there have been times in my life that my doing has gotten out of hand. In my rush to accomplish, I have pushed aside my nearest and dearest. Now I'm glad that no matter how crazy things get, I have a weekly reminder that doing is not the end goal in and of itself. Over the years, the ability to stop doing and to be has seeped into my consciousness enough that while I may be feeling very driven and enthusiastic about an important project, I'm able to stop myself and to go into quote unquote being mode. When my children rush in the door and are excited to tell me about their day, at least sometimes. So I love the month of Heshvan. All my schedules and lists come out, and everything that was pushed aside for summer vacation and the holiday and all the rush finally gets my full attention. Perhaps I'll tell you more about it another time, but for now, I've got things to do. Again, that was by Shalvi Waldman. And I was just thinking right now if there was anything on the Muslim calendar, Islamic calendar that I need to mention. And no, there is nothing else until 11/19. So there's that number again. Again, that's the time that the moon enters Virgo tonight. And that's the reason it's going to come up on the Islamic calendar on that day is because that is the day on which Muhammad's birthday celebrated also. So like I said, I told you 2 years ago, I was told to celebrate King Osiris's birthday that day. It's just by coincidence, quote unquote coincidence, it is the day that we're celebrating Muhammad's birthday as well. So nothing from the Muslim calendar was my point there. All right, celestial system. So 7th, I told you what Saturn quincunx, the true node was about. The new moon in Libra, I'll do a moon reading, so I won't go into depth there. But again, the sun and the moon, the new moon, will both be in Libra. Both are about new beginnings, right? When the sun enters, that's new beginnings. And when there's a new moon, that's new beginnings. So that's good. Libra, of course, also ruled by Venus. And Venus in intense but emotional and loving Scorpio. So I just think it should be a lot of new starts in that area and focus on a new approach to, if you're not beginning something, to ending something, maybe like to finally addressing it and you know, the fact that you're addressing it at all might be the new thing that you're doing. Like maybe you've been ignoring it, trying to sweep it under the rug, and like that time is up. So new way to deal with our situations is my feeling about this new moon in Libra, and that everything will be done like in a fair way, because with that energy of Libra and Venus being so intense right now, she's going to make sure you look at both sides like an air sign would, you know, like as is fair, and should be equitable for, you know, people on all involved, right? Things should work out best for everybody who has put any sort of energy, positive energy and effort into these things. So that's what I see. October 9th at 8:40 p.m., Mercury enters Scorpio. So that I will read from www.tarot.com. Mercury in Scorpio, sharp, inquisitive, mysterious, by the tarot.com staff. Mercury plunges into the depths when it enters passionate and private Scorpio. Mercury is the planet that influences how we think and communicate. But while it moves through its watery sign, our thoughts mix with our feelings and inspire us to ask questions and to get to the bottom of what's happening in our lives. Ideas, conversations, and people who are shallow or superficial have no power during Mercury in Scorpio. Instead, this is a time of depth and intimacy, and can be very effective period to talk about difficult issues regarding relationships, money, and morality, like life and death, basically. When Mercury's in Scorpio, Scorpio thrives in the dark, the realm of secrets and lies, questions and answers, death and transformation. It is an extremely inquisitive sign that is never satisfied with what's simply lying on the surface. Scorpio knows that the real treasures are found when you dig a little deeper. So while mental Mercury moves through the sign of Scorpion, we all start asking more questions and searching for hidden meanings. But we may not be happy with what we discover. When Mercury travels through Scorpio, it's like Mercury is shining a light on all the darkest parts of ourselves. We become more aware of our fears and our desires and the ways that others' lives impact our own. We can bond in much more intimate ways because we're able to discuss topics that are normally off limits. A Gemini will say anything. We will say anything. Talk about our period. I'm on mine right now. See, there you go. Just to give you an idea. I don't know if Virgos are like that too, but they're ruled by Mercury as well. My sister's a Virgo. She doesn't blurt stuff out the way I do, like, you know, without concern. Anyway, stuff that it was normally off limits, all of a sudden you're talking about it because Mercury is present, right? But Mercury in Scorpio brings out the skeptic in all of us. While it may feel like we're searching for something wrong in every situation, it's really about emphasizing our negative thinking to get positive results. By eliminating information and ideas that don't serve our needs, straight up Queen of Swords style, right? We make room for those that will. Our minds are also more suspicious when Mercury's in Scorpio because it's a time that emphasizes secrecy and privacy. We're quick to assume that there are things going on that we don't know about. Ooh, be careful of that. That sounds very Five of Swords, just like waiting to happen. But if we push too hard to try to get to the truth, which is very likely under Scorpio's persistent influence, we risk creating long-term issues of intimacy and mistrust. That said, Mercury in Scorpio does have the potential to foster greater intimacy as well. Because we're more willing to ask the really hard questions, we might finally get the answers that we need in order to grow closer in the process. And if you can read further, if you would like to know what it means if you were born with Mercury in Scorpio in your own chart, or what happens when Mercury is retrograde in Scorpio, which it is not right now. On that note, I think let's do the reading. We ended that exactly at the 29-minute, 11-second mark. So a lot of 29 and 11 thus far, and we haven't even done anything yet. I'm beginning with the dice with sex. It's 50-50. Oh, look. 29. But I'm beginning with spend money. But 29 was just like staring in the camera. 29, of course, spiritual partnership. And there it is again. But the dice say, weaken away. Forget it. And I think that this might be something that you were harboring. Like, let it go. Queen of Swords, cut it off. It doesn't serve you. There's that 29. And otherwise, buy shoes. Going to the cards, and begin with the 10 of Earth, which can be representative of that Virgo energy that I spoke of. Virgo, which is ruled by Mercury, by the way, which we just talked about. We just discussed enters Scorpio this week. Or this can be representative of Venus, perhaps, ruler of the sign of Taurus. Venus, who's so active this week. Or we could be getting this Earth energy because of Capricorn and that Saturn quincunx the true node this week. So a lot of reasons for Earth energy to be showing up for us, but it's the 10 of Earth. That's very positive. We could be getting some sort of lump sum or something, or asset, or just being made to feel very happy, secure, content, which is good in itself. Like happy being, like the woman was talking about when we were reading about the month of Heshvan. A very happy family life, financial security, finding magic in the little things in life. So being appreciative, basically of what we have, and counting one's blessings. If you feel particularly like that, just happy to be alive and to be, then that can be how the 10 of Earth showed up in your life. Nice. Opening to the King of Waters, trustworthy, compassionate, respected, and cultured, possibly a Scorpio, right? With all that Scorpio energy going on right now. Pisces, Cancer, or someone likened to these traits or attributes. Open your heart and mind to those around you. Trustworthy and heartfelt advice could come to you or come from you to another party. Also charity work, which would be unconditional love, whether you're receiving it, or you're doling it out. Ten of Earth. And the 8 of Water, desire to move on, the search for something more meaningful, spiritual and emotional growth. And I think that that's kind of like the forgetter, like moving on, desire to move on from old stuff that doesn't matter anymore. Old hurt, resentment, regret, pain, move on from that and into this happier space instead. And opening to the Page of Air, logical, honest, impulsive, and curious. Could be here because of Mercury. Page of Air tends to represent the sign of Gemini for me, the more youthful of the air element. That's why I give it to the page. But of course can be Libra, where the sun is, where the moon will be, as well as Aquarius. Challenging information, delays or changes to plans, and truth delivered without tact. The Page of Air is logical, honest, impulsive, and curious. Ten of Earth. And the 10 of Fire. Too much work. Accept help from others. Life's out of balance, and that can create stress-related health concerns. This is probably attached to that. It's 50-50, right? And I would say Venus comes into play there too. It's 50-50. Like there's two scales. They need to be, the weight needs to be distributed evenly among both of them. Everybody, should be carrying their share of the wands here. Ten of Earth. I'm going to go ahead and cut. What is this? The Knight of Earth. Loyal, dedicated, honorable, and kind. It's time to buckle down and get things done. Honor your commitments. You have a guardian angel. The Knight of Earth is a Capricorn, Virgo, or Taurus, or perhaps Mercury or Venus, or someone impactful upon you this week, likened to those traits or attributes. Can be your own energy too. Just going to stick it back in arbitrarily. And we've otherwise come to the 9 of Fire. Don't give up. Protect that which you've created. Have courage and believe in yourself. Overall energies, major arcana card number 17, the star. Again, the new moon in Libra will be 17 degrees Libra. Happy times, make positive, optimistic, long-term plans. You are on the right path. That will also occur at 3:05, which is 8, 2. 8's about karma. 8 is the number that appears up. As I say this, I look over, it's right next to me, appears on major arcana card Justice, which represents the sign of Libra. Fair decisions will be made after all the evidence is reviewed impartially. Have compassion for others and try to see all sides of a disagreement. There's really good cards behind this. God, I'm not going to stop what I'm doing. The Two of Summer, you're falling in love or experiencing a deepening of emotion in your current relationship. Marriages or romantic partnerships in distress can still be saved. Don't give up. So we just landed on the Nine of Fire, which says don't give up either. Protect that which you've created. Could definitely be talking about your relationships, your partnerships. Behind it, also upright, another Eight of Summer. This feels and looks a lot like the reading I did for the weekend, but I promise you I shuffled these cards several times. You feel that there's more to life than what you're living, so it's time to move on. You may be moving from a situation that isn't good for you, or perhaps you're being drawn to what would make you happy. Either way, you're in control. And behind that last one that is upright, we're ending on a good note. It's the Nine of Summer. Now's the time when your dreams come true. Don't worry about how this will happen. Just give gratitude to God for all that you have and all that's still yet to come. That sounds very month of Heshvanish. But the Nine of Summer or Nine of Cups is about our wishes coming true, our prayers being answered, right? Our dreams coming true. Well, guess what? So is the star. Just stronger. So this is pretty awesome. A lot of those cards turned up in my reading for Friday into and through the weekend for my Patreon subscribers. So it's really nice to see them again. Crowning the masculine this week, it is major arcana card number 9, the Hermit with Archangel Raziel, which represents the sign of Virgo. Spend time in quiet meditation, spiritual teaching, self-discovery. This can be about learning oneself, like you're both the teacher and the student. It can be helping others to become more enlightened or to gain some sort of clarity, right? You help them through something too. Or just a spiritual time, coming into increased awareness, spiritual awareness, ascension even. Masculine surrounded by the Seven of Air. I meant to mention this to you because as I was shuffling, all of a sudden I felt a card like stand up straight, and I opened my eyes to see what it was, and it was the Seven of Air. Plans that need revision. More going on than meets the eye. Poor timing. I'm not really a fan of the Seven of Air. It can be a card of theft, and that like actual physical theft, somebody taking something from you, of loss, but also the lack of confidence. So I don't like seeing either. In general, I was going to say here for the masculine, but I don't like seeing it for us either on the feminine side. This could be what's scaring him though. So it's another card of partnership. Just saw the Two of Cups and now the Two of Fire. You've come into your own. New partnerships or contracts. Continue to move forward and protect that which you've created. Don't let anybody take it from you or even try. 7 plus 2 equals 9. You're crowned by a 9 also. 9's all about endings as well as new beginnings. And also humanitarianism, like finding your spiritual purpose. That could be about what the masculine is seeking clarity, or why he's soul searching. Like, why am I here? Who am I? What am I? Where am I? He could be doing some of that. Crowning the feminine. The Eight of Fire. Events moving at a fast pace. Delays are over. Many things are happening at once. The Eight of Fire is about that. It's like wands coming at you, arrows coming at you, like from Cupid when I look at it. Or yeah, that's what I see when I look at it. especially in the traditional tarot. It's like these 8 things coming at you. This can also be about communication. Could be from the feminine, could be to the feminine. The major arcana card, the star, again, which is our overall energy, which also equals 8, also can be about communication, as is, Venus and Mercury and air signs in general. So there definitely could be that. If you're feeling to communicate, this is a good week where that is, definitely supported. Sometimes we're discouraged, like it's not the time to reach out or whatever. It's chasing and things like that. But this would indicate, this again, in addition to our overall energy of the star, would indicate communication is a good idea right now. If you feel guided. You don't just communicate, because you saw this and you're like, okay, let me reach out and call, because that could be ego. Make sure that it's general guidance from your intuition, higher self, actual guides, if that's with whom you work and you see or hear things or whatever. However your gifts work. Feminine surrounded by. Major Arcana card 15. The Devil. A false sense of entrapment. Being overly focused on material things and negative or fear-based thoughts. This can be connected to some sort of addiction to, or something of which we need to let go, because we're supposed to be starting anew with stuff, with a new moon and, sun placement and all this other stuff that's going on. Starting anew, there could be something that we're holding on to that belongs, dropped here or even in the past. Feminine subconscious, the 10 of fire, too much work. Accept help from others. Life is out of balance, and that creates stress-related health concerns. Yeah, I think it's tied to this devil, to this some sort of codependency, possibly even addiction. Crowning. The King of Earth, generous, professional, responsible, and practical. A successful time. Confidently accept opportunities you're offered. You have the Midas touch. Some of us on the feminine side in particular are overly concerned with money or the material, it would seem. On a more positive note, they could be having some sort of relationship or connection impact this week upon or from an earth sign, maybe specifically a Capricorn. Masculine, you could be fearing, if not in actual danger of, somebody trying to take, maybe a financial opportunity, job, or actual money or some sort of asset from you. Or somebody trying to destroy your partnership, whether this is representative of a romantic one or not. But the Two of Fire is the divine union card of the tarot. At the root, Major Arcana card, Strength, number 11. Great inner strength. Release harsh judgments. Instead, exercise some forgiveness and compassion. Major Arcana card, Strength, represents Leo, the true node. So this comes up this week too, right? Saturn quincunx the true node. Do you see it laid out in the cards? That's why I go over all this stuff, because I know it comes up in my readings. Yeah, so that can be exactly what this is about. I told you, it might feel strained at that time, that day. That's possible. What Major Arcana card Strength says when it shows up, though, whether it's in battling this potential theft or loss, or getting us through a period of codependency, addiction, worry, fear, is basically like nothing can stop you. When Major Arcana card Strength shows up, it's like anything that you go up against, try to do, you have the ability to accomplish. At the heart of the matter, the Knight of Fire, passionate, adventurous, self-assured, and restless. A sudden event that needs immediate attention. Time is of the essence. Think things through carefully. The Knight of Fire is a Leo. Sagittarius, Aries, perhaps a Scorpio, Mars, Jupiter, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Could be the facilitator of whatever will solve this problem. So it could be, again, like Jupiter coming in with some karmic support, money, to help you out of a worrisome situation involving that. But let's look a little further using the Animal Tarot. Again, beginning with Major Arcana card Justice. Fair and just decisions will be made after all the evidence is reviewed impartially. Have compassion for others and try to see all sides of a disagreement. And sticking up is another Eight of Wands. All right, so we got one here. Here's another one. You've been presented with many wonderful opportunities all at once. That can be stressful too. That can be what we're thinking about. That could be causing us fear. What am I going to do? I got all these things, wonderful things happening in my life. I'm overwhelmed. While this may feel very stressful, see, told ya. Remember to be grateful for the blessings that heaven sends you. All right, opening 2. The Three of Spring. Stop to take time to review and to make long-term plans, capitalizing on your past success. It's important to pat yourself on the back for all of your accomplishments, but you also may need to exercise some patience for the next phase to play out. Three of Fire can be tied, or Spring can be tied to some sort of party of 3, 2, maybe even a love triangle. That could be what somebody might be happy with one and staying in it, or that could be something from someone away from which someone is walking to. Here's another Knight of Fire. In this deck, it's called the Prince of Spring. Same thing. An opportunity arises that needs your attention right away. Moving quickly is important, yet there's nothing that you can't handle if you follow your own inner guidance. So again, pay attention to your intuition. Your success has brought you financial security to enjoy your own company, just being. You may suddenly have a brilliant idea for a business or self-employment opportunity that will be very successful. Again, somebody could be trying to get in the way of that. Haters will send negative energy trying to stop that or something like that here. Same thing for the feminine. You could be, or at least you're paranoid about that perhaps. Three of Spring. And the King of Summer is also back. Warm-hearted, devoted, loving, and faithful. A trustworthy person or relationship enters your life. You may receive wise and compassionate advice from someone who speaks directly from the heart. Three of Spring. And it's the Queen of Spring. Don't underestimate your ability to manifest your dreams. You may have several priorities vying for your attention at once, but you can do it. And after much shuffling, the overall energy is still the Queen of Spring. Oh, 2 there. Not sure why. We shall see. Okay. 3 there now. One of which is the Magician. So yeah, the Magician just came flying out of the deck as I was laying the cards. There is magic in the air. You can manifest anything you need to be successful. I think that's particularly for the masculine. It fell crossing this here. The Magician for me represents the sign of Gemini, but also the other mutable signs, because we're all capable of the traits and attributes of any other sign. Like it's Gemini first and foremost for me, because Gemini is that to the second power. But Virgo, certainly, Pisces, Sagittarius, definitely be tied to the Magician. Having jumped out like that, though, I'm wondering if it's taking on its other potential meaning, especially sitting here over the Seven of Swords. The Magician can be representative of toxicity, like bipolar kind of energy, malicious even, like somebody deceitful, wearing a veil, a mask, trying to pull one over on you, as they say. So let's keep that in mind too. It's a possible meaning. Atop the Hermit is the Four of Winter. So maybe you're needing to go within because you got a decision that you're going to have to make. Thoroughly think things through before making a decision. Continuing to overanalyze isn't going to get you any closer to the resolution. But meditation, which is what the Hermit is good for, right? Spiritual going within. And also prayer will bring you the answers that you seek. Atop this Seven of Air, two cards came out. They are, the Seven of Spring, for one. Be assertive, believe in yourself, and don't let anyone take away your personal power. Okay, that's what I said here before. So don't let anybody take any of this from you. So now it's being clarified. Don't let anybody take your personal power. You are in control. Trust that your inner guidance is true and follow it completely. So don't deviate from what you're moved to do by your soul, gut feelings, butterflies in your stomach, and all that kind of stuff. But further to that, I also mentioned that Jupiter himself might be coming through for you. And here's proof of that, confirmation of that. Major Arcana card number 10, the Wheel, which represents for me the planet Jupiter, ruler of the sign of Sagittarius, and also connected to the energy of the fixed signs, Scorpio, Aquarius. So our overall energy was the star, Aquarius. Scorpio is where, again, Venus, Mercury, and Jupiter all are, or will be as of this week. And Taurus, which Venus rules, is a fixed sign as well. And the last one would be Leo. Okay. Atop the Two of Fire, the King of Winter. He is intelligent, impartial, respected, and unemotional. At this time, it's very important that you communicate clearly, be objective and unemotional. Act as professionally as possible. If you need advice, seek out the most experienced expert that you can find. As it relates to this partnership, you're guided basically, to communicate. Communicate your thoughts, your feelings, your needs, your desires, your goals, your wants, however it is applicable. Communicating clearly and effectively what it is you want. Also, to be fair, balance between the two, right? Both people should get equity, which is love, basically. Balance and fairness is love. That's what you're guided to act with. The King of Winter is a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, or someone likened to those traits or attributes. Atop the Eight of Fire is Major Arcana card, the Dreamer. You're starting a new adventure. Run free and take a leap of faith. So don't be worried that a whole bunch of stuff is going on around you and that you're getting perhaps more than one opportunity. Focus on the one that you're accepting or that you're prioritizing and run with it. That's what you've been guided to do. Surrounding the feminine atop the Devil. It's the Seven of Winter. So now we got a Seven of Winter mirroring a Seven of Winter. Somebody's trying to take some stuff from us too, or mess us up, or this is our fear, which is already indicative. This is already indicative of fear. This is our fear, low self-esteem, something we could be robbing ourselves of opportunities, not somebody else doing it to us. Caution will help you to avoid the loss of valuables, including non-material resources such as time or peace of mind. Your just being can be stolen from you if you're not careful. Be aware of the results of your actions as well as what others might be doing behind your back. So your results of your actions, yes, but non-action and just sitting around stuck is action too, right? It's like deciding to not do anything is basically what that is. So you got to try to break away from this fear here. If that's how you're being affected. Atop the 10 of fire, major arcana card 16, life experience, or the Tower, which for me represents the sign of Scorpio. And in this card, there are a bunch of butterflies, which also are connected to the sign of Scorpio for me, because butterflies go through that transformation that Pluto's all about. Pluto, their ruler. And the sign of Scorpio is about, right? It's going in, a caterpillar, and morphing into something completely different. The insect doesn't die, but in a sense it does, because it's completely changed. It's no longer a worm or a caterpillar when it comes out of that cocoon. It is, in fact, a new species, a butterfly. So, I pulled a piece of my hair out, sorry. That, I think, is what might be scary to you. Like just a complete new beginning. That's what you're being guided to take the leap of faith toward. There's a lot of fear right here. There's a lot of indication of being overwhelmed here. And I think that's why the Tower is coming through to clarify that. You're just super scared of starting completely fresh and being basically naive to anything that's going to happen. You just don't know. There's a lot of unknown. You're still guided to push forward. And I think I just read something about that too, right? Like about not being worried about being completely informed about what's going on and what's to come. Just going with it. Atop the King of Earth is the 10 of summer. It's time to express your love and appreciation for family, be it relatives or a chosen family of close friends. Congratulations also may be in order for a happy family life or fulfilling marriage, as well as raising happy and balanced children. You could be happy again because it's just a time of positivity coming your way. It looks like especially for the masculine with the King of Earth crossing the wheel and the Wheel of Fortune. But we all have the ability to manifest this stuff into our lives. Again, I want you to be mindful of this Magician though, because I think that these 7 of Winters could be connected to, again, somebody deceitful, wearing a mask. It was Raphael too. Yeah, it's warning, warning. Get away from that person. 911. And yeah, cutting off people, places, and things that we don't feel we can trust. Our soul can't rest. We don't feel comfortable around. And instead surrounding ourselves with people who make us feel like this. Or with energy that makes us feel like that. At the root, atop major arcana card strength. Ooh, the 3 of winter. Sadness is part of life, but you don't have to endure it alone. You may need a little time to heal, but once you work your way through those emotions, you'll be stronger than before. With this 7 here, and with this 7 here, the 2 7s here, I think that, again, some of you are having to change the who, with who, what, and where you surround yourself. And that may be particularly for the masculine part of this decision that he's got to make. And like I just said a few moments ago, having to cut some of those things off because it's toxic for you. It can be kind of heavy. But again, you have the strength to, you're up to the challenge. Anything that you have to face, you're going to be able to withstand and conquer with major arcana card strength here. If somebody that you care about tries to take something from you, or you feel has taken something from you, or including your joy. It doesn't have to be something physical and that, you know, you can hold in your hand, tangible. Like they said, it could be non-material resources too. Your joy, your happiness, because I call the Seven of Winter the card of joy stealing. And you got to cut those people off. That's hurtful. That's what this Three of Winter is. At the heart of the matter, atop the Knight of Fire, more strength. True strength is displayed through kindness, forgiveness, and compassion. You have tremendous personal power and courage. Basically what they're saying is whatever you have to come up against this week, you're going to be able to conquer. But it's also a warning of some of the energy that can come up, particularly again surrounding that Saturn quincux, the true node. So whatever day I said that was, be particularly mindful of this. And the possibility for loss and theft, and fear to creep in, you know, and lack of confidence, lack of esteem. Going to get some advice now, in addition to the 2 decks that we used already, from the numerology deck, beginning with card number 93 and happy ending, and open to card number 27, spiritual partnership. Spiritual partnership. And 3, creativity. Spiritual partnership. And 44, environment. This is about, again, having to change with whom, what, and where we surround ourselves, possibly. Make adjustments to our environment, because it's affecting our abundance, our 8, and it's brought on probably by something karmic, 8. 27, spiritual partnership, and 85, follow your dreams. The dreamer there. Follow your dreams. And we've come back to 3, creativity. Overall energy is domestic harmony, and we just have the opportunity this week to bring about this sort of peace for ourselves in our homes. Like, we're comfortable just being, we're happy with in our relationships, and with, again, whom, what, and where we surround ourselves. Once we make some changes to the foundations, maybe bring in love, compassion, right? 4 and 6 foundations, love, forgiveness for some of the pain. I mean, some of these things can be worked out. We have the strength again to get through them. We want to be surrounded by abundance, including love, happiness, friends, people that love us, people that we love. So some of these things we're going to want to get beyond, and some we're going to leave behind permanently. And I think that takes us like full circle to the beginning of the reading, where 2 8 of Waters showed up, 8 of Cups, and, you know, 8 of Cups again about walking away from something or towards something. So it'll be different for different people, but I think in large part it involves relationships, and not all romantic. Some will be family, some will be close friends, some will be. So I hadn't realized that my camera shut up. It overheated as I was talking about all of the different things that this can be connected to: relationships, with family, friends, job, all kinds of different stuff. And then I, as you can see, there's more cards here on the table now too. I went into tons of other things. I started to think about all the 7s and 8s that are here, and that meant some different stuff too. So I'm going to try to recap it. I'll start with this 7 here. That's the Tower for the feminine. With Major Arcana card, the Tower. As it relates to relationships, and maybe specifically romantic ones, it can be about a relationship that's about to end, which would make sense with the devil being here and the Seven of Winter being there also, Seven of Swords. Like that, this is not a relationship that you need to keep. It doesn't have to be a romantic one. Again, it could be a friend, something, and you need to instead make a new start with that 8 that's there. With the relation to the general energies, it means things are moving along positively. And of course, the dreamer indicates that too, right? That you have new opportunities coming forward and you should follow your guidance and move forward. But as it relates to work, which work could be involved too, because it's sitting here next to the King of Pentacles, the King of Earth. We want to remember, it's like we might be waiting on a decision. This could, in this moment, represent somebody's boss or something, or a male or masculine energy at the office that needs to make a decision. And it's not so, it's the feminine that's awaiting it. And that can be what the 8 of Wands means. Maybe that's why she feels stuck. Like, I can't move with the devil here. I can't move forward or move anywhere until that decision is made. So I got to wait. It could be connected to relationships too. And then I would say particularly romantic, because maybe like her boss is her man. I've called my man my boss, you know, daddy, zaddy, all that kind of stuff. So it could be that also, waiting on a decision from him. And you know, here's the decider right here, the King of Winter that's in his subconscious, and sitting here atop the 2 of Fire could really be. Also, the King of Swords can be somebody as it relates to work that you're worried about, like they're a troublemaker, they bother you. Now they say that sometimes you could be like overly like sensitive or whatever, but in this case you might not be, because remember the Magician showed up here, and this could be somebody you have to worry about with the 7 of Swords and the 7 of Wands also sitting here underneath these cards atop the King of Winter. So that could be legitimate, and you could be worried about, in a relationship, it could be, again, a business relationship, job relationship, what this person is up to. They could be trying to take something from you. Sure, in some cases, yes, it could be a figment of your imagination. That's, well, in large part, what swords are about also. So you have to gauge the situation. But I don't think the Magician jumped out for no reason. I think that there's a reason. As it relates to love, the King of Winter, you know, he's a force to be reckoned with. He's super decisive and sort of steadfast, and you know, it's a take it or leave it kind of personality. You know, for some people, I guess it can be overbearing at times because it's just so analytical and not very emotional. You know, but I mean, it is what it is. That's the element of swords, of air. So, what else had I said? Getting back to this 7 of Swords for the feminine, again, crossing the King of Earth, the King of Pentacles. If it has something to do with work, there could be like a need for you to watch your temper, watch yourself. With this, it's you got the 7 that can be difficult energy atop this 7 that can be potentially difficult energy coupled together. Yeah, you may want to watch your temper at the office. Okay, even if it's a place where you feel secure and comfortable, like they're your family, just be conscious of that. With the Strength card, all right, the Strength card sitting next underneath the King of Earth is a good indication. I mean, it should mean that things are going well if it's one's job, and that would be for the masculine or the feminine. And love relationships, you know, should be strong and going well too. And even one relationships where there's been difficulty, again, we should have the strength to get through any pain and hurt. Strength can actually have to do with meditation too, and I guess that would be more so for the masculine. The Four of Swords can be about the need to meditate or rest, take a break. And again, it is sitting atop, there was another indication here, oh yeah, the Hermit. So that those two together indicated a decision may need to be made by some. I'd also thought about 7 from the Bible, with all these 7s that we have here. You know, in the Bible, and not just the Bible, actually, in like the major religions in general, because in Islam too, and you know, even if when you break it down into sects, including like the Nation of Gods and Earths, the 5% nation, you know, 7 means God there too. You know, like these things, they span the different cultures. But also, you know, it's said that the world was created in 6 days, and on the 7th day God rested. All 3 of them believe that. They don't agree on what the 7th day is, right? Many practice that the Sabbath is on Saturday, and Christians, you know, say it's on Sunday, but not even all Christians. 7-day Adventists say it's on Saturday. You know, so anyway, that part is up for debate, but they tend to agree that that was the rest. So that made me think about the passage that I had read about the month of Heshvan again, and the taking the time to be and to rest. So I think that that was a message for the masculine too, connected to all these 7s that he has. So he's got 2 7s just right here also, sitting underneath this need to make a decision. His 7 of Swords that's here, also his boss, or if the King of Earth has to do with his work, his boss or somebody at the job could be like watching him. Make sure that your work is not, make sure it's up to par. Like you cross your I's and dot your T's, and that there's not a way for anybody to take anything from you, take credit for your work, or to set you up in a negative situation. When it comes to the relationships, the 7 of Swords here with this 2 of Fire, if you are in a relationship that's already any kind of committed, so even just divine unions that are in separation and you're with somebody else, I mean, we're still tied and committed, you know, if not on this plane and level, you know, you still are at the soul level. So it depends upon how you want to look at it and approach it. But in relationships, particularly committed ones, there's a sign that you trust is really important. And then it's even more important, coupled here, being with the 2 of Fire being clarified by the King of Swords sitting here underneath the 7 of Swords. You know, it's like you really want truth and accuracy and decency and respect and impartiality, diplomacy. Those are all the things you're looking for. That's what the King of Winter is all about. What else did I want to say about this? Oh, the 7 of Swords can have to do with like maybe there's some sort of, no, is competition the right word? I'm going to say competition at work. I don't know, but something like, again, where the boss is watching people. Maybe you're not the only one that's under scrutiny. Maybe there's something like a potential raise or bonus or something, promotion that people could be up for. And you know, there are others involved. Watch out for people that are like cheating with the 7 of Swords and the Magician having jumped out of the deck. And I hate that I'm having to do this like this, because I'm trying to remember everything that I said and that it had come to mind. The 7 of Wands here being one of the cards that clarifies for the masculine, could also mean, as it relates to a relationship, that he needs to speak his mind, right, and be honest. That's the only way that you're going to like make things better. you know, but also like tend to yourself, nurture yourself, which takes us back to that being. If he's considering himself single and not in a relationship, it could mean that he's going to meet somebody in like a new and interesting way, or maybe a new and interesting, different, you know, kind of person. All right, I think that's it, because we already talked about the general meanings of the Seven of Wands, like making yourself clear, being decisive, don't let anybody trample on the decisions that you make. So all of that, you know, goes in relation to relationships and stuff too, and decisions that you have to make. I'm just trying to remember everything else I had said. I think I mentioned the strength and the Three of Winter. Basically, it's having the strength to recover from whatever this hurt is. And if the masculine has gone through it, he's already moved on to the Four of Winter. So he's already progressed and graduated from this space. Like it would be an indication that this is a past event, you know, or this is what led to maybe the need for him to make a decision or to have to do some meditation or thought. For the feminine, it can be more a fresher cut, let's say. But at the same time, again, we have the strength to get to it too. There's two strength cards here. It's like last night took a L, but tonight I bounce back. You know, you get right over it. You can recover quickly, bounce back quickly from that. Oh, the eights. Okay, I talked about the eights too. So the Eight of Cups is not here in the spread, I don't think. But we saw it twice as I was dealing. I think. I don't remember it being laying here. But I talked about it. The Eight of Cups still, again, like I said, you could be walking away from something or towards something or someone. So even a relationship, even a long-term relationship could be ending. That may be what this is about with the feminine. Again, because I already said that the Tower and the 10 together could mean that a relationship's ending. So it could be that. And it's like, don't wait. If you're getting guided to leave it or whatever, don't try to wait for the right time or whatever. There's not going to be a right time. There's not going to be a best time. You just need to just go and get out of that relationship. As it relates to work, your job might not be the right place for you anymore where you are. It could be time to walk away from that too. But I think I did get to say that before the camera turned off, that this could be work, it could be any kind of relationship, it can be anything. General, it's really a good card. It's just about receiving guidance. It's a very spiritual card too. You know, sort of like the Hermit. It's like you're coming into your own intuitive thoughts and messages and being moved, you know, one way or another to do something. But to the card that is here, that also showed up twice, the Eight of Wands. The simple part is, again, things are moving. Wands cards are fire. The fire element is about movement and action, as is the planet Mars, which rules them, right? Some of the stuff might be behind the scenes. It may be the universe or karmic energy, the energy of 8. That's doing it, right? Jupiter, Mars, again, Venus, Mercury, they could be at action and, you know, that's causing some of that. Again, it could mean you're waiting on a decision. And you know what? In love, there could be some stuck to. You might need to let go a little bit, loosen the reins, because I forgot. The Eight of Wands can mean that you're looking for something more. Like you're looking for commitment, you're looking, you know, to move on to the next phase, and it doesn't seem to be coming, right? It doesn't seem to be that it's time for, or that he's ready. Maybe he's making the decision, right? It's pending. So if you push, that's going to be chasing energy. It's going to be that you're going to cause a delay. It's going to run off, and you're going to rob yourself. So to get back to the Seven of Swords, you're going to rob yourself of the opportunity if you chase him away with your chasing energy. Instead, because you can't push people or things that we want, that we're trying to manifest, we can't force We have to, you know, make the intentions and then allow them to come with the law of attraction. If they attract them, pull them in, manifest them. So instead, you might want to work on some sort of hobby or other thing, you know, and just be. I just keep wanting to tie it all back together. That's what I feel and felt myself being guided to do. So to take us back into the month of Teshuvah, you're going to want to just be in the meantime if you're one of the ones that's feeling that. And that's explaining why the Eight of Wands is here atop the Devil. You're feeling stuck. You can't move forward. You're dying to move forward. Masculine's not ready yet. And, you know, you're going to push him away and it's going to take even longer. All right. So you want to chill out, chillax, as they say on that. All right. Am I done? I gotta think again if that's all I wanted to say. The star is at 8-2, but I already talked about all the wonderful things the star means. Oh goodness, I know. Okay, I remember. In the scriptures again, so the same way like I did about the number 7, in the scriptures, the number 8 is about, particularly the Bible actually, it's about resurrection. The number 8, new beginnings, right? Rebirth, death and rebirth. And it's kind of because, in part because of the number 7, again, representation of God, spirituality, divinity. It's like a 7, looked at as a 7 plus 1 to make the 8 plus 1. The magician that jumped out. Remember it landed right here on top of these 7s? Just like that. Notice there's an 8 right here on the card. It's the infinity symbol. Can you see it? So it's about a new start, a new phase, you know, ushering in a whole new period, and like the old me is dead and gone. So that could be something, another reason again for the meditation and the thought, the need to make a decision, and to be the hermit. Because who's the new me? Remember I said, who am I? Where am I? What am I? It's really that. Like the old me is dead and gone. So I got to get to know the new me. I don't know him. So that's something too. All right. I think on that note, I have not only summarized everything that I talked about before I realized the camera had stopped, but a little bit more, and I can go on to these, explain what these cards are. So what I had also done was gone to my numerology deck from where I wanted to get some advice, shuffled those, deal them out. Overall energy, 46, domestic harmony. I had talked about the number 4 and the number 6, 4 being about our foundations, of course, and 6, love, you know, mainly. And I described the King of Pentacles and the 10 of Cups sitting there as like a domestic harmony. It's like wherever you are at peace, feeling whole, feeling happy. That noise in the back is my air conditioner. If you can hear it, I apologize. It comes on when the temperature reaches a certain point, you know, drops too low, and before I get hot, it comes on. So that's the overall energy. And then I laid one here atop these 7s to further clarify them some more, and atop these 7s to further clarify them some more, and then one here where that 10 of Cups and the King of Pentacles is, and then I put our advice. So now I'm going to lay 2 advice cards from this deck. And the overall energy on that deck, again, is Major Arcana card number 17 equals 8, the star, which represents the sign of Aquarius, where Mars, the red planet, is located. And from this deck, where the overall energy is the Queen of Spring, advice cards too. All right, so further clarifying, the Wheel of Fortune sitting atop the 7 of Fire and the 7 of Air. Boom! I promise you I had no idea. I wish you could have seen me deal it, and, you know, live, but I know most of you, I'm sure, if not all, know that it is what it is. This is the card that ended up there. I had nothing to do with it, but it's 77 spirituality. So that's why I'm just like, Wow, that's confirmation for your ass, as they say, right? Of all the things we just discussed. So for the feminine, atop the Seven of Winter and the Devil, right, is card number 33, communication. So there's a need to make a communication, or again, to receive communication. We could be waiting on some sort of decision from the masculine or a masculine energy in general, somebody else that will impact upon us. It's not necessarily a decision that we got to make ourselves. It's more so decisions from other people that we're awaiting, with that Eight of Wands there. And crowning atop the Ten of Cups and the King of Coins is 91, surrender. So it's like surrendering to happiness, consciously deciding to be happy, to be this, right? To be this, to be abundant, to be love, to be rich with, just all of your desires fulfilled, met. Further to that, to the masculine, it's another Prince of Spring. When we got one here, the Knight of Fire, that's the Prince of Spring. Here he is again. An opportunity arises that needs your attention right away, masculine. Moving quickly is important, yet there's nothing you can't handle if you follow your inner guidance. The Prince of Spring is passionate, charismatic, confident, and restless. He's also a Leo, Sagittarius, Aries, maybe a Scorpio, the planet Mars, the planet Jupiter, a karmic force. Yeah, and it's like Prince Charming to the rescue. Comes in not only with an opportunity, but, to like sweep you off your feet and help you to it. Leads the way to the opportunity. Carry you to the opportunity, basically. And this could be your energy, masculine. That could be you. An immediate situation can come as soon as you have this revelation, right? You reach this point. You have this spiritual awakening and awareness that you come into, this enlightenment. And as soon as that happens, that could spark the moment. I got to take off and do something about this right now. Whether it's you've made a decision about your relationship, and I got to tell her how I feel for real. No more bullshitting, whatever it is. I got to start my own company, my own business. I can't let, this opportunity pass me by. I can't rob myself of it. I can't let somebody else rob me of it. I got to quit my job, but whatever it is. It has to be handled immediately once that's how you're going to feel. It's going to feel like an urgent matter once you have that revelation. Feminine for us, nice. The Six of Winter. The challenging times. Maybe this. Over. Coming to an end. And you can now breathe a sigh of relief. Let go of the past. Let go of the past. And embrace the happier times instead that are ahead. From the Angel Tarot to the masculine, the Three of Fire, our second one of these. Abundance. Things look very good. Have patience at this time and make long-term plans. Again, where it relates to business and even relationships, I definitely think this could apply. Friendships, romantic relationships, business relationships, jobs, your own company, all those things that we talked about, the Three of Fire, and planning and preparing to be abundant and being a little bit more patient for that fourth wand and our foundations to be sturdy to come through. Yes, but also party of three and possibly love triangle and somebody walking away from it, or, they're happy with their situation and they're going to, walk towards it and stay there, a little longer maybe. That's possible too. But definitely I can see people leaving a love triangle or having left it already. It caused pain before you left it and now you want to try to mend the relationship that you had with, the other partner, the Two of Cups, the Two of Fire. Angel Tarot to the feminine. It is Major Arcana card 5. 5's all about change or to bring up the nation of gods and earths again in supreme math. 5 is power refinement. Basically, in summary, you have the power to refine your life, to change it, to improve it. It's all on you. You're in control. Major Arcana card Unity is also the High Priest or the Hierophant. It can be about signing important documents. Again, starting something new, a new job, a new offering, coming into contact with some sort of authority, government institution maybe, commitment. This could be about the commitment that you want, marriage even. People are getting engaged. I saw it last week in my reading. I had a client in particular sort of got re-engaged, or she got a new ring. Last week we talked about coming into contact with authority and the jail situation. Actually, that was in my Patreon readings. I think one of my dailies. I said, somebody could be coming home from jail or going or learning when they're going to come home. That happened for one of my clients this week. So that kind of thing can still be going on too. And that could be a decision for which one is waiting. It could be a legal decision. Okay. The Hierophant, again, also about with whom, what, and where we surround ourselves. The need to make adjustments to our environment. And about spirituality, similar to the Hermit. We could be having some revelations of our own, especially with the Tower here. From the numerology deck to the masculine, 22 or 1111. Intuition. So again, you're going to pay close attention to yours and follow that guidance to the T. And lastly, for the feminine, spiritual partnership, which goes real nice with our overall energy of domestic harmony. And with deciding to be happy and surrendering to it. With the help of the moon, right? That's what the surrender is about. And doesn't this say like mother, father, and the sun? Here's the Virgo, here's the Scorpio energy, and here's that moon and the need to surrender, feminine energy of surrender. On that note, I hope that you guys have enjoyed the reading. I apologize for our little snafu. But I think it came together marvelously. That's my opinion, although biased. Thank you for liking, sharing, subscribing. I really appreciate it because, YouTube kind of requires it. Like I need it. I wish they didn't, but that's the way it works. So please do click on the button. If you're already a subscriber, you want to check every now and then and make sure you're still subscribed and you're still getting the notifications. And if you're newly subscribing right now, after you hit subscribe, you're also going to want to hit the bell button. I don't know why it's a 2-step process, but it is. Hit the bell button also so that you can be ensured and assured to receive notifications, letting you know every time that I have put up a new video. I'll be back with love and the new moon and Libra readings. Namaste, angels.